We've brought together on this table representative pieces that would have been used in the service of food, essentially cups for beverage, and then bowls and storage jars for cereal and for dipping food. We don't find individual plates as much as we find bowls for dipping into stews and maybe even salads. First, let's look at the development of the cup in antiquity, possibly from the earliest period, from early bronze. We have this again, that we recognize this rounded shape, no handle. You just grab it and it would be a drinking cup. The next stage is to add a spout and a handle. This actually is a drinking cup of the late bronze period, and people would have drunk from this as well as maybe carried a beverage from a room to the table. It is a drinking cup. Next are two examples of actual cups that are limestone, carved limestone. This particular cup I purchased at an auction. It's incomplete. The handle has not been carved out. Limestone was used because Orthodox Jews could cleanse the limestone, where pottery sometimes retained some of the elements of what was there previously. In the Smith collection, we have this example of maybe a child's cup that also has a spout on it, so it does two purposes. You can use it to bring liquids or solids. I think of this as a cup like I find in my wife's kitchen, a glass cup, a measuring cup. Then the development would include also metal objects. This comes from the Roman period, but simpler metal pieces would have been used for liquids because, again, limestone is non-porous. Metal would have retained the liquid. Then last but not least in this development of the cup shape or design is this rather unusual cup from the, again, Iron III period, the last half of the Old Testament period. This is a round vessel. It's painted, and imagine what probably it's to replicate. Maybe the earliest drinking cup was a tortoise shell, and the potter here has shaped this design and then inscribed the little designs of the tortoise shell onto the cup. This probably comes from the Greek period when red was a particular desirable color. So we see the development from round, simple, to handles, to metal, limestone, and then ultimately a slipped vessel here that would have been non-porous as well. The object is to retain liquids in a vessel that's non-porous. On this side of the table, we have representative bowls, serving bowls from the earliest period, the early bronze, around 3000 to 2000 BCE, the late bronze period, 1500 to 1200, has a bowl like this that is covered with a slip so that it preserves the liquid or the material that would have been placed in it. This makes it non-porous. Then as we get into the late bronze period, we get painted ware. Again, these are not individual dishes. These are bowls that one would have dipped bread into, and that probably contained a stew or some kind of even salad possibly. At the end of the line of these particular bowl designs is a glass dish. We sometimes think of the Roman period and the later Egyptian periods as the periods when glass really proliferated, but we find glasses early as 2500 BCE, coming from China or Mesopotamia, imported through Palestine into Egypt. This is a glass dish, a serving dish that might have held grapes, fruit. Think about this on a table in that late Iron Age period as we're moving from Babylonian captivity to the return under the Persians and then into the Greek period. The final pieces here are cereal bowls that are called pyxes. They have two handles. They come in different sizes. Sometimes they're 4 and 5 times that size. We think of them as the Wheaties and Cheerio bowls of antiquity, but in the tombs that we excavated at ancient Dothan when I was in college, we find as many bowls like this as lamps in the tomb. So perhaps they contained olive oil.